Yeah, that guy. The way he got into Underground was somewhat of a funny story because back in those days, we were in high school at the time. When I first met him, he was just some weird kid in my school who played Yu-Gi-Oh! He's probably like one of the only kids in there who played Yu-Gi-Oh! People
Only white kid in there.
Brett, he was cool, but Brett was a cool white kid. He wasn't, and he wasn't by high school standards. But yeah, he was like one of the only people to actually play Yu-Gi-Oh! In back then. So, and he used to get made fun of a lot. And I was like, you know what? I got some Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards at home. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! I should maybe talk to this guy.
Worst day of his life.
And what are we? 7 years later, I hate myself.
I hate my life. You have to discuss more about like who I am as a duelist more than anything else.
All right. Basically, when I met this guy, I remember he had like some deck. Yeah, he had a couple of decks back in the day, but he always used to tell me that he never had his main deck because I always had his deck. I always had my master deck, and I just always kept beating him and 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 beating him. Cause like I can't stress that enough. Cause that was back when we used to duel over the phone, and I don't know how the fuck we were honest all the time. Well, this guy wasn't. He used to cheat and still lose. I'm not gonna lie. Since we're on camera, I may have cheated once to put a Nimble manga when I needed it. Other than that, no, I thought about it, but I didn't do it. Other than that, like I kept beating him and beating him, and I got bored with the guy. I was like, ain't no how to keep fucking beating him. He's not doing me any favors. So I told him, you know what? If I beat you one more time, that's it. I don't need to talk to you anymore. Get out of my life. And then, he worked really hard, and I saw the effort.
You know what's funny? I remembered I didn't go to school for like 4 or 5 days after that. I stayed home and like, I will create this god-like deck.
Well, basically, the point is that he's very plain, because fuck planes. But fuck this plane. You know what? The point was, I saw a lot of potential.
No, wait for the damn fucking plane to pass.
I didn't actually take pity on you. I just liked the way how this guy had the determination to always want to become a better duelist, and how he always tried to keep up with me. And he would give me a lot of great duels. I will never forget all the times that, when we always used to go to John's house, and you always would have like this new deck that you would try to beat me with. Because this guy, he's had a lot of decks trying to beat me with. But I always saw that passion that he had for the game, and that he always tried hard, and he always wanted to be good. And that's the reason why. I saw that in him, and I was like, you know what, this guy, he needs to be in Underground. So I told him about it, and, mentioned it to the boys upstairs, and the boys upstairs let him in, and then that's why he's number 4.
Number 3, me again. It's me again. All right. Number 3, Evan.
Childish Gambino.
Now, what I can say about this man is this guy can put down a deck for a year, then pick it back up and know how the fuck to be like, I'm ready, bring it, bitch, and go up against meta. May lose, but he may still pop out a win here and there. You would expect, I've seen this man use garbage, and his unique saying was, I could take anything and turn it into gold, and you could take any piece of crap. I'll make black medallion, black pendant.
Yeah, I used to, yeah.
So that's something I always underestimated about him. There were times when he wouldn't play Yu-Gi-Oh for a while, and I would just get so much better, get so much better in the game, and I'd be like, if I dueled you right now, I'd kick your ass. Then I'm on my ass. How the fuck did this happen? So I have to say, that's why I was very intrigued with Underground when I first heard about, where I was just like, you're a part of this group and you're not even the leader, you're just a lackey for this group. I was like, my God,
what must everybody else be like?
Yeah, I wonder what the higher ups must be like. Where do I sign up?
Where's the napkin for me to sign?
Where's the napkin? I can put my name on it. So, yeah, I have to say that this guy was good. He was a very good player. I always strived to be just as good as him. Just that I always felt like if he's so good to take out all these players, at least if I'm just as good, I feel like at least I made some kind of great accomplishment. So throughout Yu-Gi-Oh, I always aim to be just as good as him. So I probably around this time, I would say that I'm a little bit better than him because... Maybe not on DN standards. On DN standards, I would say we were definitely equal, but in real life, I would probably say I have more of the advantage based off that he doesn't really keep up to date with the newest buying cards. But other than that, I would say when it comes to DN, we're dead on equal.
Mm-hmm. This fucking guy gets to go 2 times in a row. Fuck this guy.
Well, then you do.
I know.
Well, all right, yeah. Next is...
Plain. Next is Plain.
Number 2 of the best people in Underground.
Because he gets to go twice.
Yes, Ray, which is my cousin. The person that actually taught me pretty much everything I know about Yu-Gi-Oh! And actually got me... I wouldn't be as good as I am today if I would never learn C for C and that whole concept if it wasn't thanks to him. And he was the most cockiest person in Underground. He was like the prophet of Underground mixed with the most cockiest member of Underground. Because he had 2 decks that he mainly used. Exodia and his Armed Dragon deck. With Armed Dragon level 3, 5, 7, never really used 10. And then that was when Dark Armed Dragon was released. It was just like, the moment when people would see Armed Dragon hit the field, they were like, fuck. And it's funny because Armed Dragon sounds like such a shitty ass card, and it was just like, I was just like, oh my god, this is gonna be such a problem. I knew once I would see one of those Armed Dragon cards, I was like, fuck. He remembers, because remember there was that time frame where I was just like, oh Evan, you don't know how good Armed Dragon levels, 3, 4, 5, 3, 5, and 7 are. I was like, do you have a Armed Dragon level 7? Remember when I wanted to play? I wanted to play it just because I was just like so inspired. But then I decided against it because I was just like, he's gonna do it his own way. I have to make my own way. So that's when I made C for Z. But he himself, I know, even though he doesn't play anymore, thanks to what thanks to what Paul did, he doesn't play anymore. But if he did play, I would still say he would probably be able to kick my ass from one side of the room to the other. So that's why I say it's funny because growing up with Ray, he loved him and hated his own cousin. He hated me, but said, oh, this Spidey guy, he's pretty original. I like him. You should learn something, Anthony, from this guy.
Hey, I can always agree with that.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fireworks. Number 1, the cream of the crop.
The number 1 person in Underground, which was the leader at the time, and I got in, that original top 10, that number 1 guy.
David.
Well, it started with the D, but it wasn't no David.
Wasn't that his name, David?
Probably. I actually never learned his name. I think it probably was David. I think it could have been David, but I actually never.
My name is Danielle.
But his name, well, from what I knew, his name was D. He went by D. And D, I don't know how he got in, but all I know is that...
Imagine D is just like a part of the other higher-ups.
It was like he has his own top 10, and like somewhere in like Russia, there's another Underground.
No, all I remember was when we were in high school, and there was that thing where Zane was just like, hey Zane, have you ever heard of Underground?
Oh!
And I was just like, I remembered when I was watching that episode of GX, I was just like, they copied us.
Yeah.
Evan! No, I remember I ran into school, before your class. Evan! And then we went into, the outside, just like, you saw that episode of GX? Did you? Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's funny. That is actually funny that happened. Actually, like I said...
Evan, you ever hear of Underground dueling before? Here's my gun.
Here's my napkin. Wait a minute.
Don't forget to join.
Leave your name and number.
You.
But yeah, D, he is number 1. I don't know how he got in. All I remember when I did the 6 ways, everybody talked about him as if he was like the cream of the crop, the top dog, top dollar, cannot beat him. And at the time when I first met D, I had Guardian Monsters in my deck, and then I showed it to him. He said, "Oh wow, it's pretty original," And then he showed me the first ever Guardian Yatos I ever saw, and this was before Guardian Yatos was legally printed.
He was the one that showed you that?
Yeah.
You know what I always asked? You actually brought up an interesting topic that. So you mean to tell me it's possible that he wasn't the actual leader, the one that actually created this group?
He probably was. I'm just saying, everybody looked at him like, this is the guy you don't want to. I'll never forget that. And it's like, man's like, this is the guy right here. You don't want to touch this guy. Pat was like, yeah, you don't want none of this guy. You can blow your fucking load off. And he was with his own other guy, and it's like, yeah, you don't want to touch him. And I was like, I want to do him. He's like, nah, you don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't really want that. You don't really want to. No, yeah, you don't really want to punch him. Fucking.
That's a robbery.
But yeah, it's like, everybody told me like not to do him. And if I never dueled him, he had like an Exodia type deck, I believe, and then he had this other deck that I've never dueled.
You know what's funny? I actually have to point this factor out, but the two people that were better in Underground than you and me were basically Ray and D. And the funny thing was, Ray and D were like our mentors that actually created us to be as good as we are. And it's funny, they both used Exodia. Don't you find that to be a little ironic?
And now look who has 1,000 Exodias. He's probably like 1,000 little disciples, little kids coming out every fucking day. I want to learn. I want to learn. Get out of my house.
Explodia. Exodia. No one's ever been able to defeat him.
But yeah, that was D, and this was this video. So we'll do one more clip to just say goodbye.
Wait. I know. All right. Because there's one more little thing. Because there's something you forgot to. I want you to.
Oh, yeah, there was that one time where I dueled D for the leadership of Underground, and that's how I got it to get to this, to share it with this guy to get it to where it is today. I dueled D. One of the hardest duels of my life.
I remember how many times did I leave you phone calls on that day? Evan, what happened?
That happened, and I use like every possible. I had to use that, like I could take the garbage of a card and make it like in that whatever the like greatness. I could turn garbage into greatness was basically the skill I had to use, and I still do that today in today's format because like I learned so much from that guy. Like he taught me how to be so much better because since I was like I never really had the opportunity to buy cards like that, so I just had to take what I had and make it better. And then he helped me whatever way he could to give me whatever he could, and like I use everything I learned from him to also share it with this guy, and now we have what we have today because of this. And even today with all you kids and your Dino Rabbits and your fucking Insectors and your fucking Chaos Dragons.
Well, those are the net deckers.
Yeah, and all you crazy guys.
But most of the people that are in here do not run that.
I know, but I'm saying like most of you guys with those cards, I'm letting you know I will beat you with a fucking Gen War Werewolf. And it's not a beat stick deck. I will beat you with a Gen War Werewolf. I will beat you with an Magic Skeleton Guardian.
I love Gen War Werewolf. You know what's funny? Because the thing is, it's funny how you dueled your higher supreme, which was D, and my highest supreme was Ray, and I couldn't overcome him. I was like, go Sangan, I need your assistance. Oh damn, I fucked up. You know what's funny? I would have loved to see Ray versus D.
That would have
been crazy.
The universe would implode. It would. But yeah.
Me and Ray versus you and D.
Push on!
Me, the best Vanguard.
These guys going up
Arm Dragon, mofo.
What would get rid of Arm Dragon? I don't fucking know.
You know what I could see? I could just be like, do like, I activate hand destruction. Give up 2 cards, draw 2 cards, and we all do that. And both Ray and D draw into Exodia. We both lose at the same exact time.
That's what would probably happen. I don't want to say what would happen, but that's probably exactly what would happen. But we're letting this camera run on too long. So we're going to have to end it up right here. So say your final words.
David is a no-good son of a bitch. I have Vincent, nice guy. Greg's flaming. Courtney. Is Courtney black?
Yes. I think there's a girl. Oh yeah, he was a dude and he was black.
Adam, the water little kid. Thomas.
He's not in.
I know, but we can always talk about Thomas.